The third type of supply chain that we need to understand is based on sustainability. And in this specific type, we have to understand about linear supply chain, closed loop supply chain, and circular supply chain. So a circular fashion supply chain or a circular economy creates a highly sustainable system by designing, sourcing, and producing product with the intention of using them for as long as possible in the most valuable form. And when we talk about circular economy, this involves reusing or recycling a specific product for as long as possible to minimize waste and to avoid landfills. But on the other side, if you look at a traditional linear supply chain, it is often described as take, make, waste process. On the other side, if you look at the middle one, which is the recycling economy, this includes the proper disposal of a product. So if you look at the complete process of circular economy or recycling economy or linear economy, it will look something like this. So at the top, you have a raw material supplier, then you have a manufacturer, or let's say a production of a product, then you have usage, and then it will go as a non-recyclable waste. That's your linear economy. Then you have your reuse economy, where you have your raw material, then you have your production, then you have your usage, and from usage, it will go back to the production, and then it will again come back to the usage, and finally you will recycle it. A really good example is paper pulp. So if you have a pure white paper, you normally use that specific paper once, and again it will go back for the recycling, and then you basically make it as a non-recyclable waste. Then you have circular economy, where you have raw material and you produce a specific product, then you use it, then you again recycle it, then it will again go back to the production. Again, there is no perfect example of circular economy, but you can normally see linear economy or reuse economy. You can do the circular economy for, let's say, once or twice, but again, there is no perfect example of circular economy, and we will discuss about that in the coming video. But let's understand about three important techniques that you can use. So let's understand about 3R strategy so that you can achieve at least some level of sustainability. So you have your reduce, reuse, and recycle. And let's understand this with the help of an example. So let's say you may have observed many restaurants who stopped using these plastic fork or plastic straw, and that's a really good example of reduce. They are reducing the plastic wastage, but now they are using more plastic in the packaging, which is contradictory. Anyway, the main idea of reducing a specific consumption of a product which is not good for the society. Then you have reuse. And this is very popular in case of developing country, where if you are an elder brother and if I am the younger one, there's a very high probability that your clothes will be given to me after few years. And that's a really good example of reuse. Now let's talk about recycling. Recycling is nothing but disposing the right kind of waste into the right bin so that it will reach to a recycling facility and so that they can recycle these products. So you have your reduce, reuse, recycle, and proper disposal. Now let's understand about a real life example of a closed loop supply chain. And again, there is nothing called as perfect closed loop supply chain because you always have some level of leakage. Now the main idea of having a closed loop supply chain is that you use a specific product, then you recycle it again and again until the product loses its core value. In case of Tesla, you have raw lithium. From this raw lithium, a company normally manufactures a lithium ion battery inside the gigafactory. Once the product is ready, it will go to the nearby distribution center so that they can distribute the product or a car to a normal customer. Once the customer have used a specific car for, let's say, 10, 15, 20 years, then all of that will go into the collection point where they will collect all of the wastage and then they will recycle as many components as they can. And again, they always try to manufacture a specific battery cell or the covering of a battery cell inside their factory. Now, again, you have all of these diagrams to showcase the forward logistic, the reverse logistic, the flow of material, the forward supply chain facility, the manufacturing plant, the warehouse and distribution center, supplier and end consumer.